First Priori Incantatum, that's real motion. That's 24 frames. But then the final spell casting, that's in slow motion.
It feels like, I don't know. It's
like,
hard to
remember,
tell.
like,
It looks like it's
So,
in
like,
slow motion.
so the snake gets killed, and Voldemort's like,
Liz is just laughing at me doing a wand move.
No, yeah, it's slow motion. It's slow motion. Snake gets killed. Voldemort's like, oh, and then Harry's like, oh, and then Voldemort's like, oh, and then Harry,
Exactly.
Okay,
They
all
don't say
slow motion.
anything.
Yeah.
They took this entire like great dialogue sequence and just made it a bunch of like,
Yeah.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Court.
And hello, B-Critics fam. Welcome to another episode of the B-Critics podcast.
We are finishing out our Harry Potter era, but not really. It never ends, honestly. But we have the final installment of the Harry Potter movies today.
Yes, it's very exciting. But first, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
So you can find us on pretty much everything at B-Critics Podcast. So go check it out.
Okay, enough of the boring stuff. It's time to introduce our guests and get talking about Harry Potter. So once again, we are joined by James and Anthony, the hosts of Raiders of the Lost podcast. James, Anthony, welcome back to the B-Critics podcast.
Good to be here.
Thanks for the invitation. We're so excited to talk about the final film in the Harry Potter franchise.
This is very exciting. It feels like a huge culmination of just like so much work, and honestly, I just love Harry Potter so much. Like, it brings me so much joy. I think y'all have already seen like a lot of emotion in me. So
Oh yeah, and it was our childhood reading
Yeah.
the books when we were little,
And yeah,
and then growing up with the films, and it was just they pulled it off so well.
when
this
it comes
finale.
to most anticipated films of my lifetime, like these are up there all time in my entire life of part one and part two. All the Harry Potter movies in general, but these two especially.
So the Harry Potter books are so special to me because my mom actually read them to me when I was younger.
Aw.
She read them in like a British accent. And I actually have a godchild now. And I just bought her the first illustrated edition of the first book for her for Christmas this year. So I'm going to get her like
Aw.
each book every year.
Those are
Um,
great. The hardcover illustrated ones, they're beautiful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are beautiful. But they've only have, I think, 5 of them out so far.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into them. I haven't seen those.
They're incredible.
Mhm.
They're incredible.
They're amazing.
If you're just checking in at part 2, or if you're just like finding this at part 2, we did part 1 of this 2-part finale with James and Anthony. And you can go and watch that and learn a little bit more about the Raiders of the Lost podcast. But we're going to jump right into it this time.
All right. And if y'all haven't figured it out, what movie we're talking about today, Anthony, we're going to let you introduce the movie.
In the great finale of the Harry Potter saga, Ron, Harry, and Hermione have to break into Gringots and then make their way to Hogwarts for the final battle of this new Wizarding War.
You didn't even say the name of the movie.
Yeah, man.
In. It was paused for dramatic effect.
Okay.
In Harry Potter, in the Deathly Hallows part.
Okay, so
2.
normally I prep our guests and tell them, make sure you say the name of the movie, but I figured you had this one on your own, and I was wrong, so we're going to take 10 points from Ravenclaw.
And can I get 10 points for Slytherin because I did it correctly the
Whoa,
first time?
don't be a teacher's
Yeah,
pet,
yeah,
okay?
you can.
I think so.
Let's go.
Slytherin's
Oh my
underdog
God.
right now. They
Oh
need
my
it
God.
desperately.
Oh my god, that was some petty points right there, man.
Sure was.
Petty
You're
points.
That's literally what they all are.
Shameless,
trying to get those
shameless.
numbers up.
Please give me
We've taken-
points.
We've taken so many points from Slytherin just because they're all terrible characters.
Can you give someone points if they beg for it, though? I don't know.
It's too late, Anthony.
It does sound like something a Slytherin would do.
It's too late.
It's a Slytherin move.
You should take more points away for complaining so much.
We should give points from the last movie for Regulus because he did the whole thing with the locket
go.
and
True.
That's
creature
fair, that's
and
fair.
stuff.
I say
10 more
so-
points. 50. Okay.
What is this? This is BS. This is BS.
Elizabeth just throws out the points, and what you don't know is she's behind the scenes, like giving points for like random shit. So like,
I should have gotten points for talking about Grimmauld Place with the barrier and the Death Eaters outside. I would like 100 points for that.
Ravenclaw was
okay.
very
Ravenclaw,
far
you don't get
behind.
points just for being a know-it-all. Calm down.
Yeah, right.
Calm
We've
down.
all contributed, Anthony. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna explain this episode. So this is it. Dobby is dead, and Voldemort has the Elder Wand, but Harry, Ron, and Hermione must continue their quest to find the remaining Horcruxes and destroy Tom Riddle's immortality. This takes them to their most dangerous challenges yet, starting with breaking into the impenetrable goblin-run bank Gringots and riding a dragon to escape. Finally, they must return to Hogwarts to find the final Horcrux. While there, Snape discovers Harry, the Order arrives, and the Battle of Hogwarts begins. Will Voldemort remain master of death with his Hallows and Horcruxes, or will Harry, Ron, and Hermione be able to destroy the snake and defeat Voldemort in time to save the Wizarding World?
Amazing. So much to talk about. Obviously, we left off at Shell Cottage last episode where Dobby dies, but then we have great sequences of Harry, Ron, and Hermione talking to Griphook, and then also talking to Ollivander, where we get information on the real Sword of Gryffindor, which they have, and there's a copy inside the Lestrange vault at Gringotts, as well as asking Ollivander about wand lore and about the Horcruxes, trying to get a little exposition and information for the rest of their quest.
And with the conversation with Griphook, we learn what else is in Bellatrix Lestrange's vault, and Griphook hints that there is definitely something else that's very valuable for sure in there, and that gives them the idea that if Bellatrix was that frightened in Malfoy Manor about someone being inside of her vault, maybe Voldemort left a Horcrux in there for safekeeping with one of his most devoted followers.
Yeah, and he always left his Horcruxes somewhere meaningful, and Gringotts represented something that he never had in terms of wealth and power when it comes to being a wizard.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Bella. It's all to do with the goblins.
Poor Bellatrix.
She's such a sip for Voldy, and he wants nothing to do with her.
I don't need
your help.
Poor girl.
And then Ollivander, we learned that, the idea of the Deathly Hallows, it's a famous story in the inner circles of wizards. So many wizards haven't heard of it, and some have. And then Ollivander is someone who, studying wand lore, has clearly heard about the Elder Wand. He doesn't truly believe that the others exist, but I think he definitely believes that the Elder Wand exists.
Mm-hmm. But don't take too much stock in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Harry tells him that Voldemort said, what you say is true, and he does have the Elder Wand, you really don't stand a chance. You're
So
fucked.
ominous.
Harry should be like, fuck you, man. Sorry, we're not allowed to swear, but
No, you are.
Swear all
It's
you
fine.
want.
cool.
Yeah, I was like
We're
pretty shame.
explicit.
Ollivander's like, dude, you're gonna die.
Yep.
So this movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. I think it's the shortest of
I think so too, yeah.
the franchise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it came out in July of 2011. I remember going to see this movie, like very distinctly remember it for the first time.
Same.
Yep.
The darkest
So-
logo we got ever, because they got darker and darker.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a
Yeah.
black screen.
Yeah.
This movie had some great posters too.
Yeah.
Excellent posters.
I think they really did some marketing because so this one shared the budget with part one, that $250 million budget, but this one box officed over $1.3 billion.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Incredible.
Yeah. And it was the highest grossing film that Warner Brothers had actually until it was surpassed by Barbie this year.
Oh, yeah, that's
Wow,
right.
this was number one for that long?
Yes.
Wow. Damn. I
I
wonder why
know.
they went right into Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. And then again, it was directed by David Yates, which this is what David Yates is good for, the action. Like this movie is action packed. And as much as I personally have a thing against David Yates, I will give it to him that the action is very, very good in this one.
Well, he did a good job in terms of taking over at Order of the Phoenix and bringing a consistent aesthetic that sort of fit contemporary filmmaking, if that makes sense. Obviously, the first two, what Chris Columbus did was phenomenal. So much practical filmmaking. And then Alfonso
Mhm.
Cuarón. The third one was sensational, bringing a lot of realism to the world, and then grounding it, like having the kids out of wardrobe and a lot in terms of with plain clothes. And then, but Yates, he does bring a specific style that's been consistent since Order of the Phoenix that I do like. Although I think in terms of like ranking him with the other directors, he's probably, obviously I put like Cuarón made the best one. Prisoner of Azkaban is the best Harry Potter
Ah,
movie
I'm
objectively.
so glad that you said that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Chris Columbus with the first two is exceptional, but I think he did a solid job creating this aesthetic, this tone, this look of what the Wizarding World is and has been since with Fantastic Beasts as well.
Yeah, I think he did a good job finishing out the series with consistency, with a good tone, and just a quality of filmmaking. Well, I think he's also a really great director of actors too. He pulls good performances from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all get Lord of the Rings vibes from this final one?
Lord of the Rings vibes.
I mean, I get more Lord of the Rings vibes from part one because I think of the locket as like the one ring and how it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
So I
this
always,
one just feels like a war movie to me.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
it
is.
is a war movie, so that's where that's the vibes
Mhm.
I feel from it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one packed with action. The effects are really amped up in this one. We got bits of it in part one, but we really get it now in part two. So a couple things I want to call out. One is like the sets and the props for this movie and all the callbacks that they did to like all the original movies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they walk into the room of requirement, not to jump ahead a
Mhm.
little bit, but when they
Yeah.
walk through the portrait and then Neville brings them there and they walk in and we get the theme, the Harry Potter, John Williams theme, the
Yes.
da-na-na-na-na-na-na, which we hadn't heard in years because
we just hear it in the opening
just
title.
here and there,
Yeah.
but like to have like the full Hogwarts hymn, which we haven't fully heard like that since really number 3.
Mhm.
It was really exciting.
Yeah.
It was
Did y'all pick
exciting.
up on too? Everything in the Room of Requirements was props from the other movies.
Oh,
They just,
no
like,
way.
wow.
they raided the prop closets and just threw it all in there.
That's really
amazing.
cool.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also the digital Hogwarts castle was used in this one. So they've been using the like giant table prop castle, and then they use a digital one here to enable the final battle scenes.
Gotcha.
That makes a lot of
Gotcha.
sense. And what's cool about part 1 and part 2 is they both have massive kind of heist sequences where in the first one, Ministry of Magic trying to heist and steal the locket from Umbridge. Then we have a heist of breaking into Gringotts' vault, into the Bellatrix Lestrange's vault in Gringotts. So they're both kind of heist movies at the same time.
I remember when we walked into number 1, we were curious where they would end it. Were they going to do both the Ministry and Gringotts and then end it there and then start part 2 after that? And then I think they did a great job of ending it after Malfoy Manor and then opening the second film with this incredible action sequence of breaking into Gringotts, which is absolutely phenomenal. So funny, so entertaining, great action, incredible CGI, and also pretty scary. I think the scene of them, but the humor is great. Hermione being Bellatrix cracks me up.
Helena Bonham Carter's so
Yeah,
good.
she's so funny in that. And good morning. You aren't some doughy-eyed schoolgirl. You're Bellatrix Lestrange.
Might as well slit our throats with that sword if she gets this up.
We also get a hint of how goblins, you got to be careful when you make deals with them because
Mhm.
they take everything literally. So Griphook does do everything they agreed upon of getting into the vault. But then we see that little smirk right before they apparate of he's like, he didn't say anything about getting out. So there's always, it's talked about in the books of it's risky and you have to be very careful when you're making a deal with a goblin.
And rules for ownership are different for
Yes.
goblins because they believe the people who created the
Yes.
object own it forever, and anyone else who's purchased it, they're renting it basically.
Yeah.
So that's why the sword's so like precious to him and why he
Exactly.
wants it so bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Before we get too far into talking about the movie, we just wanted to take a second to say thank you so much for tuning into our Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince episode. We are so happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are loving what you're seeing, here's a few ways that you can support us. So, number 1, you can share the pod with a friend. You can subscribe and follow wherever you listen to the podcast, and definitely leave us ratings and reviews wherever you listen also. And then also you can check out our new partner, Reload. They have a really cool app. It houses movie reviews. They generate personalized movie recommendations. And it's just a place to like build community and connect with friends and creators who also love movies. So definitely go check it out.
Yeah, we're on there. You can connect with us and see everything that we're reviewing on there as well. And we do get a small commission for each person who downloads and signs up with our code. It's totally free to you, but we get a little bit of a perk for each person.
Yeah, so if you're interested, you should use our code and download the app. Our code is B-Crit, and we'll link everything in the episode description.
Again, check out the Reload app with the code B-Crit, and I'll spell it out for you. It's BCRIT. B as in boy who lived. C as in Courtney. R as in Ron Weasley. I as in Imperious Curse. And T as in Taylor Swift.
Love it. Go check it out. All right, y'all. I think it's time to get back into the episode. Yeah, so let's get into it because we are well into plot point number 1, which is starting with like the beginning of the movie. So we begin literally right where we left off. Like you see the tomb of Dumbledore again. But we go back to Shell Cottage and you see Harry having to decide. He chooses Horocrux or Hallows, and he picks Horocruxes and goes and talks to the goblin first, and that's where they start formulating their plan to break into Gringots. And I would agree. I think Helena Bonham Carter is fabulous in this scene.
She's kind of just acting like Emma Watson, how she would act as Hermione, and then
Yes.
Emma Watson's voice is coming out. I'd like to see my fault. It's really great. She's terrific.
Yeah.
I actually think in the movies, the effect of having the original character's voice as the voice is like very helpful for watching.
And I think it helps for kids too, for sure.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to not like that, but it does make sense to have it that way. I
Physically,
think.
it doesn't make sense because you would have that person's vocal cords and so you would sound like them. But I think for young audiences, especially for kids, like it helps get the point across. Like it is this other character inside of them.
Yep.
My favorite part of this scene is the escape with the dragon.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's so cool.
It's amazing. But also
It
just
is
getting there is
amazing.
really great. They have a lot of obstacles, obviously, getting past the front doors, then through the bank teller, basically, and also using
the Imperio.
unforgivable curses
Yeah.
to gain access into the
Twice.
vaults. The Imperious Curse, which who taught Harry how to do it really well? Bellatrix taught him.
Oh, yeah.
You have to mean
You
it.
have to mean it.
At the Order of the Phoenix, you have to mean it. So really, it's interesting that Bella, who's being impersonated there, is the one who taught Harry really how to do those unforgivable curses.
And there's something that the movie kind of it's not completely cohesive where Griphook actually showed Harry to his vault when he was a kid, but it was actually a different actor who played that goblin in Philosopher's Stone. It was the actor from Austin Powers played that goblin. But I think that for audiences, for me, it doesn't bother me, but it is a different actor. So when he says, "I'm the one who showed you to your vault," it's like,
Blood, please. Key, please.
"Key, please."
Oh, what a
We
cutie.
we say that all the time.
Key, please.
So I will say about the unforgivable curses is when Radcliffe does it, it's believable. But then when Ron tries to do Imperio at some point in the film, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel
Not
about
buying
that.
it. Yeah, not buying it.
Yeah.
And I like how with Imperio, it wasn't done in the other films, but we see this kind of colorful, almost gas that surrounds the victim, and they breathe it in. I like that, the charm, the visual charm. I think they did a great job. It was really interesting.
And they just look stoned.
yeah.
But then more obstacles. Obviously, they have the Devil's Water. I mean, the Thief's
Downfall.
Water, Thief's Downfall, the waterfall that washes away any magical enchantments. And then obviously
Hermione saves them
Yeah.
multiple times.
the dragon
Yeah.
at the end in front of the vault.
But I
Which is
love
really cool.
inside the vault when they get inside of there, because it's a brilliant curse where everything you touch multiplies. And also
Gets hot.
I think they kind of showed it in the movie, but in the books, everything's searing hot to the
Yeah.
touch. So
Yeah,
like they
very
get like
hot.
boils on their skin just from touching anything. I don't think they showed that in the movie, but it made
That
it.
was not
it's,
part of it.
Yeah,
It just
okay, so-
multiplied.
so it's more
not hot in
dangerous
the
in the
movie.
book. Yeah, like they're getting like covered in boils and getting literally hurt by everything they touch.
Mhm.
Goodness.
And once they're in there, they're like, "There's got to be a Horcrux in there. What's it going to be?" And they discover the Hufflepuff Cup.
And so something that worked in the movie that they didn't do in the book, I think an improvement was Harry can kind of sense a Horcrux is nearby and can kind of hear it in his mind. He also does in the Room of Requirement, and it's completely different in the book, The Diadem. He actually encounters it earlier in the series, and in Half-Blood Prince, he sees the diadem, not knowing what it was, which is kind of so ironic and just an amazing little nugget. But in the movies, he can hear whispers. He can kind of like sense Voldemort's soul, and that's how he locates them in this movie. He can hear and sense the goblet,
Yeah.
the cup, the Hufflepuff cup, and then also the diadem in the Room of Requirement.
They even go so far as to explain it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's why you can hear the Horcruxes because you
Yeah.
are a Horcrux."
Mhm.
I personally don't like it.
I
And
think it
but-
works. Yeah,
It works in the movie. I get
Yeah.
it. It's just I'll go back to it. It's one of those things like the HBO series better be really accurate because they have the time to make it accurate. And
Yeah,
it
I
would be a
think so
shame
too.
if they made it exactly the same as these movies, you know?
Mhm.
I agree. But they get out of there, and then they ride. Hermione's got the crazy plan. I got something.
You're the
but it's
genius."
mental. They jump on the back of the dragon.
But I love how like before that happens, they're like trying to find a way out, and then Ron's like, "At least we have that guy, the other goblin, who they can their plan to Imperial to help them get out." And then he gets burned alive by the dragon. He's like, "That's unfortunate." But yeah, the dragon climbing up the cave, and it's actually kind of tragic. You can see how much it suffered. It's become very pale, living in the darkness, and almost it looks like it's kind of blinded. I think over time it's lost its
It
sight.
is.
And
It
then when
is.
I love when it breaks through the floor and shatters like the interior of the Gringots lobby, and then when it climbs onto the roof, one of my favorite moments is that it just sits there for a moment and just like it's breathing in fresh air for the first time, and we could probably imagine maybe centuries. I love that little moment of the dragon just like taking in the sun, taking in the fresh air. I think it's like a nice little touch they added.
He's like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I love the effects. It's so good.
And it's just flying over London.
Yeah, just out in the open.
And the book's a little scary because Ron's like, this thing's gonna eat us. We should probably jump off
Yes.
at some point because it's gonna be hungry.
It's going to notice that we're here.
But it does
Yep.
fly them all the way to the countryside, and they plop down in the water right off the coast.
And then for 17 minutes, Rupert Grint tries to put a sweater on.
Oh my god! I believe in the books Hermione does a drying charm.
Probably.
Yeah, a couple of times. Then they could have just done that. Would have made it
They're all
easier.
so pale.
Yeah,
like-
so pale, soaking wet. Just a bunch of British actors, pale white. It's hard to put clothes on when you're wet. It is
It
difficult.
is.
It
Yeah.
is.
I do love all the memes though online. People are like, they
Oh,
make
yeah?
him dirty because he's just like the only one struggling. Poor Ron.
But why would you put on clothes while you're wet? Like that makes
I
no
don't know. It
sense.
makes
Like
no
you would
sense.
dry yourself off and then put
No.
the clothes
Exactly.
on. So-
Exactly.
It's hard enough putting on a sock like after the shower, let alone
Yeah.
a sweater.
But like the thought of doing that is just like I feel like I wouldn't feel clean. Like I would still feel
Same.
dirty. Yeah.
Hermione didn't bring any towels.
Yeah.
Do they shower
whole
when they're
bag
like
and there's no
out
towel.
camping this whole time?
I don't
Okay.
think they, I
probably
think,
like
I
a
think they can
spell.
magic it away.
Like, wash away,
There's
yo.
got to be a spell,
Yeah.
a cleaning spell.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that.
But then we also see the connection Harry and Voldemort have, and we see that Voldemort
Yes.
just tore up the room, killed all the goblins and wizards after he learned of the break in Gringots and that his Horcrux cup is gone. His favorite cup to drink coffee out of is gone.
And he looks at Hogwarts into his mind, which Harry sees, and Harry realizes he knows about the Horcruxes.
We get a flash of Rowena Ravenclaw. We get a flash of the Ravenclaw banner.
Mhm.
And so
And
he
we
knows
have
it has something to do with that.
We have to go to Hogwarts because that's where the next one is, and he knows we're after Horcruxes now.
Mhm.
And he's just walking around the blood-puddled, stained floors
Yeah, that's great.
of Gringotts.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I kind of wish we got the scene of him marking everyone.
You kind of get like flashes of it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really like show.
They gotta keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they gotta
Yeah,
get
I
to
don't know why. Like that moment always gives me like Anakin Skywalker vibes when he kills all the children.
Oh yeah. But the thing is with Voldemort, he never had a redeeming moment of his life. That's such a big difference between him and Anakin.
Yeah,
Very true.
So now we get to go to Hogwarts, which I'm sure is the next plot point.
Yes. Plot point number 2. Harry has a vision from Voldemort. The last Horocrux is at Hogwarts, so it's time to return. Finally.
Hogsmeade, let's get some butterbeer.
Now
The trio operates into Hogsmeade, where they are saved by Aberforth and are directed to follow Neville Longbottom through the painting of Ariana Dumbledore and into the Room of Requirement.
Yeah, so Death Eaters have taken over not just Hogwarts, but also Hogsmeade. They have an alarm set up. There's a curfew there. You're not allowed to be out of your house. But Aberforth says, like, I'm not allowed to let my cat out at this late at night. Come on, what am I supposed to do here?
But this is where you learn that the person that Harry's been seeing in the mirror is Aberforth, and that's who
Yes.
saved them. Yeah.
And they added, so Saren Hines, they added a prosthetic nose to him. He has a much sharper nose in real life. But with that nose and the white beard, he looks a lot like Michael Gambon. So they did a great job of making him feel like he was really the brother of this other man. So when I look at Saren Hines in this movie, I'm like, he looks like Gambon for sure.
In fun book fact, when they arrive in Hogsmeade, there's Dementors that Harry sends his stag after to get rid of, and that's what the Death Eaters see. And then that's when Aberforth says, like, no, that was like my Patronus. It was
He says, he
like
comes
that.
up with an excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, that is right.
10 points to Slytherin.
Is Aberforth a Slytherin?
No, for me.
For him. He's trying to reward himself points.
Wait, are we
Very
giving points for knowing book facts? Because I can start going down that
I mean,
path.
I'd be
I'll
the
get a lot of
thousands.
points.
I
I mean, we'll end up like 4,000 points each. It was a
I
joke.
know. I've been holding back.
Don't worry, it was just a joke. Liz, you got that right.
I know she already wrote them down.
I said plenty of book facts already in this episode.
Okay, well, then we're going to give Neville Longbottom 10 points because he
It's awesome.
It's a great deal of courage to steer up to your enemy. Even more courage to stand up to your friends.
he literally has restarted Dumbledore's army in
That's
the Room
true.
of Requirement. He's
Yeah,
coming
he
to get
has.
Harry. I think that deserves more than 10 points in my personal opinion.
Let's give
love
Neville
that.
10. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I love
Think
it.
about it.
Because the thing with him is he was also an option as being a chosen one, and Voldemort.
Yes.
He ended up choosing Harry's house. He could have gone to Neville's.
Mhm.
They had the same birthday. His parents defied the Dark Lord, and so he also applied to the prophecy. But Voldemort just happened to choose Harry instead of Neville.
True. You also can't predict if his parents would have died for him at the same
True.
way, so you never know.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting, like, how over the top they make like Neville's redemption arc at the end, because I feel like he's become like such a meme, like coming out and like killing the snake and everything, like all the confidence that he suddenly has, like the glow up that he gets.
Yeah, the glow
I can
up.
spit fire.
Do they let him fix his teeth for this one?
He's British.
Well, so they actually like didn't let him fix his teeth all throughout filming
Yeah.
because they wanted him to stay like authentic. But I don't know if he has his teeth fixed in this one or not. I would imagine not.
Actor. Yeah.
Well, he does now.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite new like video memes is like Harry's finally dead and Neville finally gets his shot at being the leader, but then Harry comes back to life, so it's over.
That was like, screw
Damn it.
this.
It's like, God damn it, fucking Potter! He's like, it was my turn.
I love this scene though when they like walk into the Room of Requirement and we get like a little funny bit where Ginny pops out and she's like, Harry, and Ron's like, I haven't
like
seen
Frankie
you in
first
6
year.
months.
It's like I'm Freddie. It's like I'm Frankie 2-year.
Cho's
also
not
we-
here though. In the
Yeah.
book, Cho's supposed to be there, isn't she?
She is there.
Is she there? Okay,
She's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original actress too.
Okay, but in the book, there's like her and Ginny are like, no, he's mine. He's mine. Kind of like a little competitive.
Love, like, I've seen so many videos of like book Harry and Cho versus movie Harry and Cho, and like book Harry and Ginny versus movie Harry and Ginny, and like they were so like angsty and catty in the books, and like you get none of that in the movies.
Yeah.
I
that's
hope they
true.
do the Cho Chang relationship a lot better in the TV show as well as the Ginny one. But in terms of like their breakup when he invites Hermione on their date, like, she's
Yes.
just my friend.
So dumb. He's so
At Madame
dumb.
Pattyfoot's
What an idiot.
tea party thing.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I do think Cho's supposed to go with Harry and Luna to the Ravenclaw house, and then the Carrows are in there, and there's like a whole bit with them.
they go in the common room.
I believe
and-
so. I believe Cho offers to take Harry to Ravenclaw, but then Ginny's like, Luna can take
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, that is what happens.
Stay away from my man.
And it's one of those things where it's like they go to the Ravenclaw common room and Harry like has no idea where it is. And you're like, are you telling me you've gone to this school for 6 years and you have no idea even like the approximate location of this common room?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is actually very different from the book where the Carrows show up, but then McGonagall arrives and takes out the Carrows in the Ravenclaw common room.
And
So-
also, they have to answer a riddle to get in.
Yes, the riddle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Yeah.
But I mean, they did a great job with the movie. They had to speed it up. That I think that would have taken up a little too much time. And we do get McGonagall in the next scene in the Great Hall. And the Great Hall is a very emotional moment when, he goes, he blends in with the other kids, the other students, and then Snape, as we don't know yet, is reluctantly this dominating, horrible headmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harry reveals himself. And it's so emotional. He's like, how dare you stand where he stood? How dare you? It's just really tragic. And then, like you said earlier, when Alan Rickman shows a slight break in character at the Malfoy Manor table, he does the same thing when McGonagall steps up to fight him, and Snape kind of has like a hesitation of like,
Yeah.
oh, not you. I don't want to fight you. But then he goes back to a defensive position. But there is a slight moment in his performance where he is extremely hesitant to battle McGonagall, which I thought was it's just perfect acting.
Then we get Pansy Parkinson saying, somebody grab him.
There he is right
And-
there. Grab him.
Snape flies away like a literal bat.
Good.
Yeah.
But also, what he does is he deflects McGonagall's spell into the Carrows and takes the Carrows out.
Yeah.
Little detail.
And takes their wands before
Yeah.
he leaves.
Disarms them, takes
yeah.
their wands, and knocks
Did they
them
show
out.
that
Yeah.
in the movie?
yeah,
Yeah.
in the movie,
Yeah.
he just deflects them and they
He, like,
both go unconscious.
Yeah, watch
Smokes
it again.
his way over to
Yeah.
both of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like
Just
that.
more great acting, just like pretending to be like a villain, but also like helping McGonagall and the kids.
hmm
Yeah.
I did read somewhere that scene was almost not in the movie, and it was going to be Harry
had to fight
and
for it.
Snape fighting.
That wouldn't have worked.
I wouldn't have liked that.
That would not have worked.
No.
Yeah, no way.
Yep.
That
Whose
doesn't
idea
happen
was
in the
that?
books where he like goes with the kids and like reveals himself. Does it?
That happens. Yeah.
It
In
does?
the Great Hall.
Yeah, pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to reread the books.
I haven't read them.
I haven't read them in like
couple
2
of
years, and
It's
I feel
just
like
the
I've
ca- the
forgotten
car-
everything.
Just
So
that the
much.
Carrows aren't there, I don't believe.
Yeah, because
they were
McGonagall
already
takes the
taken
Carrows out.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's what happens. I think maybe there's less students though.
There's a lot of
I don't know.
students. Like they're all there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the movies are dope though.
Then Voldemort speaks to the entire group.
Yeah, pretty cool.
But I like how they did a great job of like it's a very scary scene because first there's a couple of girls, they start screaming because they're the first ones to hear his voice inside their head, and then you're like, what's happening to them? And then everybody starts hearing his voice in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Harry
I like that it's
Potter.
like a whisper. It's so much more effective.
Yeah, I think in the book it's like a booming voice
Yeah.
Yeah.
that she wrote, but I think the whisper works really well. It's more sinister.
Yeah.
Now
I'm-
Harry's off to the races though
Oh yes.
to try to find the.
But I also like how after this is when the he's like McGonagall asks what you need. I'm sure you didn't come here for no reason. He's like, give me I just need time as much as you can get me. And then the teachers start forming the barrier around the Hogwarts estate. But then also right after this, we see the sheer number of Death Eaters there are on
There's a
that
lot of
that
them.
cliffside. It's a great shot. It's an
Yeah.
overhead. And it's like all these little dots, and then the camera pushes in, and then we see those are actually people, and we see it's like the whole army of Death Eaters, and there's hundreds of them. It's one of my favorite shots of the entire franchise. They did a great job with that.
And I like the protective charms that all the professors are putting up against Hogwarts, as well as the charm that McGonagall does to get the suits of armor. She's like, I've always wanted to use that spell. It's super
Great.
fun. But then Luna's chasing Harry around to be like, Harry Potter, listen to me right now.
Yeah.
Not now, Luna. I don't want to hear it.
So that does bring us to plot point number 3. Luna tells Harry Potter to listen to her right now and go talk to the Grey Lady, the ghost of Helena Ravenclaw. Harry does as instructed and discovers that the lost diadem is definitely a Horocrux and isn't quite as lost as we think. It's been left in the room where things are hidden.
He defiled it with dark magic. Great performance here. What's this actress's name? I always forget.
Oh,
she's
the
in
Scottish
No Country for
actress.
Old Men.
No, it's not Ivana. What's her name?
Oh, you're
She's
talking
great.
about the Grey Lady.
Yeah, the Grey Lady. Really great role. Only really
It was
in one
almost
scene.
Kate Winslet.
It's Kelly MacDonald.
Kelly MacDonald.
Yeah, Kate Winslet was their choice, but she had scheduling
Really?
conflicts. But but Kelly MacDonald is a really fantastic Scottish actor.
Yeah, and it's a really important scene because he has to discover where the diadem is and also how to find it and also what it was, what's the artifact in general. And, this is the second time that she's been approached about the diadem. The last time was this boy named Tom Riddle. We get more detail in the books, but she sees Harry and Tom Riddle because they're so similar.
Yeah, she says, you
Mhm.
remind me of him.
Yeah, so she's afraid
Yeah.
to give him the information, but then he tries to let her, he basically convinces her, like, this is the only way to save you, like, your legacy of your mother's legacy and to basically save the diadem's legacy as well.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, Ron had the idea of going down to the Chamber of Secrets to get a basilisk fang.
Harry talks in his sleep, haven't you noticed?
Haven't you noticed?
Of course not.
You said that last. He talks about the fang, and he's like, "You said that last year," and she's like, "Yeah, right, I did say that."
Okay. Can we talk about how dumb they make Ron in all the films?
He's
All of
dumb.
them.
He's a boathead. He's great in the
Yes.
books.
They take
He does
all
a
of his
lot.
best lines and they give them to Emma Watson.
And I think it's because Sorcerer's Stone, I mean, he saves the day with the chest and everything. He's great.
That's right.
But I
Yeah.
think Chamber of Secrets, they went such a comedic route with him as like the sidekick busting jokes that it worked really well in that movie, his humor, that they kind of just turned him into that character for the movie's sake,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. He does a lot of great things in the books.
Yeah, he's.
I think it worked though. It makes him likable.
Yeah.
It
I
must
think
because he's Liz's favorite character. So
I get why they did it, and it does work. And he is that necessary comedic relief for a lot of the films. But he is an extremely capable wizard, and he's actually very intelligent. But they just don't show that quite as much in the movies as it's.
He's just lazy.
Yeah, he's lazy. Yeah,
yeah, like any other 13, 14-year-old kid would be
Yeah,
in school, to
exactly.
be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like in the 6th one when he's like leaning up against the wall and McGonagall's like, "What is Ron doing? Why does he have a free period? Take him with you to potion."
Potter,
Yeah.
bring Weasley with you too. He looks like he's having way too much fun up there.
Yes.
I don't want to take potions.
This
Sorry.
is too where we get the iconic Ron and Hermione kiss, their first kiss in the
Oh
Yeah, the
my
chamber,
gosh.
Bad. It's bad. I like. Why
It
do you
is
get a
bad.
shot of the back of Rupert's head?
Why didn't they just do another take? I'm sure they did one take, and Emma Watson was like, "Okay, I'm not doing that again." I would have been like, "No, let's see your faces, okay? Just
It's
one more
shot
take."
really well outside of that, and like the great
Mhm.
the wave comes and crashes on them, and then the wide shot with the strings and the music and the orchestral music is beautiful. But then the back of Rupert's head, I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, they should have at least had another camera set up to get a different angle at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've said that kiss is like crazy awkward for them to do too. So
I
I'm
can
sure they were like
imagine.
laughing the whole time, like having
Yeah.
a really, really hard time with it.
Same
But
with
she had to
Harry
make out
and
with
Emma
both of them,
for
yeah.
Deathly Hallows Part 1. They actually filmed the sequence of the Horcrux, and they filmed
Mhm.
them kissing.
Yeah,
But I thought that one was better than this one, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's way
it
better.
was way better. Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
going at it.
They're better actors, I guess.
Oh no.
Coming
We
after
need to
you,
start a
boy.
fanfic.
what might have happened is
Rupert.
maybe they didn't completely plan like the positioning of the kiss beforehand. They were probably like, "Let's just do it," whereas they probably should have been like, "Okay, we can like lean in this direction," but
Mhm.
Maybe Emma wanted a stand-in actor. so some other girl taking Rupert's kiss.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Do y'all know,
But-
was the Chamber of Secrets set like the original set, or did they have to recreate it?
I'm
They
guessing
rebuilt
they.
it.
I'm
They
guessing
rebuilt
the thing,
it?
They
The-
probably had
Wow.
parts of it just in storage somewhere.
Yeah,
like
they-
they have just massive warehouses full of props.
Yeah, so they
Well-
shot this at Leavesden Studios in England, which
Mhm.
is one of the biggest lots there is, and that's where all the James Bond films are shot as well. But Warner Brothers had it rented every year for these films, and they just maintain
Mhm.
all of their sets, and they never studios never throw anything out.
Mhm.
So they'll just break things down, but I'm sure they had so much of it from Chamber that's still in storage.
Yeah. Well, and when they filmed Chamber of Secrets, they didn't know the ending to the
True.
movies.
The only thing
That
that
is
I'm
very
saying that
true.
wasn't there is the face of Slytherin, that huge statue of his face on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that they threw out because that's definitely, they built that for Chamber for sure.
Yeah. But I did like that it was in the like original Chamber of Secrets. It looked exactly the same.
Mhm.
And I did like the effect of like the water and then like right after that they kiss. I thought it was
Mhm.
cute.
It's nice. It's sweet.
No better
Until the
time than
kiss.
now.
An awkward wet kiss.
Ugh.
It wasn't quite Spider-Man kiss.
What, you think that's awkward? I think that's like the best, most iconic kiss.
No, I'm
ever.
saying it's not quite, because that's also a wet kiss, if that worked.
Yeah, not
It's like
quite
rain.
is a much
Like the
an
romantic
understatement.
rain. Not
Yes.
some nasty chamber water.
Basilisk
Oh
water.
yeah, it's probably smells
Ew.
terrible. With a dead, decomposing body of a basilisk,
Yes.
it's just marinating in that
Probably
water.
rats and everything else.
Okay, so they kiss and then they run upstairs. They see the room of requirement. Well, they don't see it on the
so
map.
They see
and then
Harry
Ron has
disappear
his
on the map. Yeah,
moment. And
Mhm.
Hermione's like, "Oh, you are smart, Ron." And then
you
they
said that
go
last year.
find. I know. But then they follow Harry into the room of requirement where he's trying to find the diadem, and then, well, they meet
Draco
up
and
with him and
his
go in with him in
yeah.
there, and then Draco and them
Yeah.
follow him in there.
Yeah, they also replaced one of the actors.
I think it's
Crab.
Crab.
The actor for Crab was arrested for
Yeah.
drugs, so they
Yes.
just cast someone else and never said anything like that. Who this new guy was? It's just like another.
Yeah.
It's just a new guy, part of the trio.
I think it's Blaze.
Blaze.
is.
It's
It is.
Taser.
Yes.
No, it's a great sequence because it shows how some of the Death Eater, some of these kids will start using Avada Kedavra because they're so corrupted by Death Eaters in the dark side
Mhm.
of magic.
Yeah,
Not
because Goyle tries the curse on
Yeah.
Harry.
Then that's when Ron's like, "That's my girlfriend."
Does he say that?
Yeah,
Yes.
he said.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
runs after him.
gosh.
So he chases after them, and this is after they see the diadem. But then it's either Crab or Goyle
It's Goyle. Yeah.
lets out the
It can't be Crab.
What's
Flame.
the flame?
Fiend fire.
Fiend fire, which
Yes.
is a cursed fire that can actually they
Never
find out
go out.
destroy a Horcrux as well. Because they save the Slytherins on their brooms.
If we die for them, I'll kill you, Harry.
And
It's a good thing they saved him, though.
Yeah.
It's true. Make it out, and then they have Hermione stabs the diadem, right?
She did it in the chamber.
So who stabs
Harry
it?
stabs
the
so Harry
basilisk.
stabs the basilisk fang,
And then
and
Ron-
then the
Someone
reaction
kicks it in.
Ron kicks it into
Ron
the
kicks
fire
into
of the fiend
yeah.
fire.
It's my favorite Deathly Hallows kill.
It's cool.
I mean, my favorite Horcrux kill.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And the door slam shut.
It's great.
It's a great one.
That poor room of requirement, though, it's
I
just
destroyed
know.
forever.
ashes. Next person who goes into the room of requirement is just going to walk into a flame.
Oh my god.
Wall of flames.
It's probably gone forever, don't you think?
I think it will
Maybe.
heal itself.
It could be. I mean, it is
Maybe
a
the
curse.
Horcrux stole all the fire, or snuffed
Yeah.
it out.
Maybe.
It'll just be burnt up, ruins of what everything was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is whatever you want it to be, so it transforms all the time.
True, but like that part of it is like always there. That's where students.
Yeah,
always
the
go. Hiding.
base version.
Baseline.
The
Baseline.
Half-Blood Prince's book is gone forever.
Damn.
Ugh,
Too bad.
it is too bad. I mean, I don't think Harry was very concerned about the book at that point.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Plot point number 4. Voldemort summons Snape to the boathouse, not the Shrieking Shack, and asks him why the Elder Wand is not serving him and allowing him to kill Harry. Voldemort concludes that it must be because the one who killed its former master was actually Snape, who killed Dumbledore. He sets Nagini on Snape and leaves him to die. Harry, Ron, and Hermione enter, and Snape tells Harry to take them, referring
So
to his
yeah.
tears.
This is a vital moment of Voldemort's misunderstanding of wand lore. So there were two
Mhm.
theories of wand lore. So some people believe that if you kill the owner of a wand, that gives you the power over their wand and the loyalty of that wand. And that can be true. However, Ollivander and Harry comes to learn is if you disarm the person, that gives you the right to their wand from then on. So this is Voldemort's misinterpretation of wand lore affecting him negatively.
Mhm.
The tragic death of Snape, gets his throat slit, but just enough time to give Harry his memories.
Take them.
All of them.
Take him
I-
to the pensive.
Take
How
them
was he
to the
supposed to know
pensive.
that was like? I guess he said it. Take it to the pensive.
Yeah.
Also, hasn't Harry done like extensive training? It's like he should.
Oh yeah, Dumbledore
No.
knew. Dumbledore prepared him for all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I wish we had gotten Nagini in the orb and the orb coming over Snape and like killing
would've
him
been cool.
inside there.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool. Maybe in the show. But this is insanely important because now we get the backstory of Severus Snape,
Mm-hmm.
and Harry discovers through all the memories of Snape with his mother, as well as Snape and Dumbledore, that Harry is the final Horcrux and he must die.
And sorry, there's a pensive memory tier that they didn't do in Half-Blood Prince, and it was Slughorn's memory of of truly revealing what Horcruxes were to Tom Riddle, and it's a memory that he took from Slughorn in Hagrid's hut in the book, but they didn't show it in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
That's the whole. They recreate the memory.
Mhm.
Did they?
Oh
Half-Blood
my
Prince?
god, yeah, you're right.
He's like
Yeah,
he
it's in
brings
there.
it to Dumbledore. Yeah, come on, man.
They're
Shit, my bad.
drinking in Hagrid's
Yeah.
hut.
Mm-hmm.
After
Yeah, they do
Aragog
the
dies.
drinking song and all
Forget
that.
I said
stuff.
that. Forget I said that. So yeah, the
But that's the most
Horcruxes.
emotional part of the whole movie.
Yeah. So
Heresy.
anyway,
Be
Deathly
brave,
Hallows-
Professor.
Losing 10 points over here.
Be brave like my mother. Otherwise, she will have died in vain. Come on, bro.
So part 2.
Redo.
Well, we do get a nod to Lily again at this moment
Mhm.
because we, instead of being in Slughorn's memories, we're in Snape's memories, and we find out that they were friends from childhood, and Snape loved Lily, and he made an agreement with Dumbledore to watch over Harry and then to kill him in
Mhm.
the end. So you find out that Snape really was, in fact, good all along.
And the revelation of. I'm sorry, you go.
Oh, and that Harry has to die.
Yeah, the revelation of when Snape kills Dumbledore. Dumbledore says, "Severus, please, Severus." And we always, maybe the first time you watched it or read the book, you think, "Oh, he meant please don't kill me." He's basically saying, "Please kill me."
It's time.
They did it
Yeah.
so well, this sequence. It's one of the most powerful sequences of the whole franchise. It's complicated, and it's kind of risky to put at the third act, like building climax of a film, but it is so powerful, so tragic. Alan Rickman is amazing. They did a good job of blending the old footage from Sorcerer's Stone with this one.
agree.
And there's actually a shot where I'm guessing it was extra footage from Sorcerer's Stone, or maybe they CGI'd that baby's face. But when Snape is holding Lily and baby Harry's in the crib behind them, I think they probably CGI'd the face to match the baby Harry from the first film because it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was like an extra shot. It was like a wide shot that they had of the crib, and they put the actors in front of that.
It just looks like they reshot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just phenomenal and amazing acting. The de-aging of Alan Rickman looks good for the most part. He does look very youthful in their first conversations with Dumbledore, but it's tragic, and I tear up every time I see it. It's so tragic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that scene.
Did you cry, Liz?
Not at that scene.
No, I
I
didn't
saved
either.
my tears.
But I did cry when I saw that Fred and then Remus and
I know.
Tonks
Oh,
were
yeah.
dead.
That was very sad.
Yeah, the war is brutal, and there's all these creatures and monsters versus just humans, and that shows the real stakes of the story in the franchise. Same thing with you said with Game of Thrones. When you kill your characters, it brings emotional stakes to the forefront, and it actually makes the story mean something.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And Remus and Tonks are such important characters, and Remus is such a big role model for Harry that
Yeah, he's
I
the
think
last
it's
father figure.
Mhm.
I
They're all
know.
gone.
I know.
And
I
even,
wish
like,
they had
yeah.
talked about Teddy in the
Oh,
movie.
Yeah,
Teddy.
there's that scene in Grimmauld Place. So in the book, Lupin finds the kids at Grimmauld. And he's like, "I want to join you guys," and Harry's like, "You just had a child. You should be with the child." And they actually had a fight
Mhm.
and a falling out, and Lupin left angrily.
And the epilogue, Teddy's in the epilogue.
Yeah,
Well, and you find out that Harry's the godchild or the
Godfather.
godfather
Yeah.
of Teddy.
And also, like, there's another death that was really powerful in the book. It's shown in the movie quickly, but Lavender Brown was killed by Fenrir, and like he like
Mhm.
mauled her and it was
Mhm.
really graphic in the book, and like really, really powerful and sad. They showed a couple
Yeah.
shots of it, yeah.
But Harry walking to his own death is just one of the most emotional things I've seen in a movie before, even though I knew it was coming. But the first time I'm watching it, it's just to have that. I think it's Radcliffe's best performance is knowing you're going to die, walking to your death, and there's nothing you can do about it, but you just have to accept it. And not only that, you can't stop Voldemort now. Maybe someone else can, but that's why he warns Neville, like, you have to kill the snake. In the books, he does. In the
Yeah.
movies, he doesn't. But still, it's not even going to be to the point, even though he's going to die right now, he's not going to be able to see Voldemort get killed. So he doesn't even know what's going to happen.
And this is actually, Harry and Voldemort are complete opposites. And this is a huge striking difference between the two of them, where Harry is so selfless. He's willing to sacrifice his own life to save others. And he walks to his death willingly. Whereas Voldemort's entire persona and his entire motivation for everything is avoiding death and escaping death. Death is his greatest fear. So Harry's so much stronger than Voldemort ever will be, because Voldemort, his greatest fear is to die, and he's built this entire set of Horcruxes, and he's gathering the Deathly Hallows to become a master of death because he fears it so much. He'll never be as strong as Harry is, because Harry Harry willingly walks into his own death.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that in this moment, Harry gets to use the resurrection stone.
Mhm.
So when he realizes that he's going to voluntarily give himself up to Voldemort, he has the epiphany, like, oh shit, this is the close. This makes sense.
Mhm.
And so he opens the golden snitch to reveal the resurrection stone, and he summons his parents and Sirius and Lupin to like walk with him there. And I think it's very special.
We're in here, you see.
It's sad. We've never
I
left.
love Gary Oldman so much.
He's
Oh
I
my
open at the
gosh.
close. I'm ready to die. That's it. That's how you open the snitch. Really sad. And I mean
heartful.
yeah, it's really tragic. But watching Harry walk to Voldemort, to see how excited Voldemort is to see that Harry's there, it's tragic, but also has one of the best scenes in the entire franchise. Is after he gets Avada Kedavra, waking up in King's Cross Station with Dumbledore inside of his own mind.
I
Probably
love the
number
limbo.
5.
I love the limbo scene. It's great.
Break
And
it
you
down
get the
for us.
crusty Voldemort thing.
Oh my
Under the
gosh.
bench.
That's what's left of his soul, basically.
I love how like obsessed Harry is with it too. He's like, what is it? Like,
I would be too. I'd be like, what the fuck is that thing? That's disgusting.
I also love that they give it like a full, like
You
a
get to
really
look
nice,
at
like
it.
full on shot, like pristine white background, and then like
Mhm.
dead
A
Voldy
nasty
thing.
little thing.
They kind of have
Yeah.
to, because they need people who've never read the books to understand that that's Voldemort. And so
Yes.
it looks like Voldemort, but it's just a much smaller being and just
Little
insanely
baby.
feeble.
It's a seventh of him.
Little-
1/7.
Yeah.
little baby Voldemort.
An 8th, right?
An eighth,
An
technically,
eighth,
yeah.
Yes.
The accidental Horcrux.
And then
Yep.
it was great. It's great getting Michael Gambon back. I think that Michael Gambon in this scene is his best performance as Dumbledore.
I would agree.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
He's so perfectly Dumbledore in this scene for sure.
Yeah, he's so confident in the role and the character, and it's just also just incredible dialogue, and it's Dumbledore's best sequence, I think, in the entire franchise, in the books
Yeah.
and movies. And
Well,
Mhm.
So
I
much
think
wisdom.
too, they give him dialogue that's very authentic to Dumbledore. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like I think in some of the previous scripts they've given him dialogue that's very super dark and really like light, very contrasting. And in this one, it's kind of like that perfect mix where like he's talking about serious stuff, but he's also can be kind of like silly.
There's
insanely
yeah,
fatherly. Very
there's
fatherly.
a
Yeah.
goofiness and a silliness that Dumbledore always has in the books, and he's extremely kind. Even though he has a troubled past, he always has a kindness to him. And some of the films lost that, especially Goblet of Fire. You
Yeah.
lost completely the kindness and the warmth of Dumbledore wasn't there. In Order, it's there. It's not there because he's avoiding Harry.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, and that's how it is in the books. But in Goblet, it was completely missing, and that was the problem with Mike Newell's direction of the character, not Michael Gambon.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel it in this one. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's emotional.
I too, and I could be completely off here. But I have a little bit of a fan theory that's like a thing going around on TikTok right now for the new Hunger Games movie, people having the like President Snow fan theories. And so I have one,
Okay.
and I may offend all of you book fans. But so at the end, when Harry's asking, like at the end of this sequence, when Harry's asking, it's kind of curious that Snape and my mom have the same Patronus. And then Dumbledore says, if you think about it, it's not curious at all. So my fan theory is, what if maybe Snape is Harry's father?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
a
not
theory.
James.
That's always been a theory for people,
Yeah.
even before the movies were coming out. But it's proof that he's not, because he looks just like James Potter. He
Yeah.
looks just like
Yeah.
his father. And the always thing, it just means that he's always loved Lily. Snape has. And the thing with Patronuses is love can give people the same Patronus. So that's why Harry has the same Patronus as his
cute.
father.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's his father, it's that he loves Lily. So
Yeah.
really you could look
Yeah.
at, he doesn't really, you can interpret he cares about Harry or he doesn't care about Harry. He's protecting Harry by showing nothing but disdain for him, so that Voldemort isn't tempted to go after that relationship to protect him, or he just despises him because he looks like James. But it's because he 100% is James Potter's son. But I mean, you can live with your
and they
theory.
also they don't show it in the movies, but Snape and Lily had a falling out in their 5th year. They had a big
Aw.
fight because Snape was hanging out with Death Eaters, and also
Call
in
her
an
Mudblood.
argument,
That's
Snape
fair.
called her a mudblood.
Yeah,
And then after he
Oh.
called her a mudblood, they never were close again.
never
at all.
spoke again.
Yeah.
Well,
Sad.
one thing I'm glad of, because when I hear fan theories like that, I kind of think they miss the mark a little bit with Harry's dad as a character in the movies by like making him out to be this like horrible person, because he is in the characters that are alive's eyes. And that's something that Harry struggles with. Like, is my dad really like a bad person kind
Was
of
he
thing?
a bully? Yeah.
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 And in this movie, when he has the Resurrection Stone, they actually give his dad's actor like a true good line, which it's small, but I was like worried that they would just like not even let him say anything, and then that would
Yeah.
just like discredit his entire character in the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if he wasn't his father, he wouldn't have been called up from the Resurrection Stone either.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I think
Yeah.
in a Half-Blood Prince, or no, it's when is Legend of Lemons? That's Order of the Phoenix. When Harry sees the vision from Snape's mind after he breaks in accidentally and sees his father bullying him, James bullying Sirius, they could have got an actor that looks more like Radcliffe.
Yeah.
That guy's tall and like lightish hair.
Yeah.
Maybe that
Mhm.
confuses people too. He's got the
Well-
glasses, but he doesn't really look like Harry.
That's what Radcliffe is
Yeah.
supposed to look like.
Yeah, Radcliffe's supposed to be that tall.
And you're just throwing that out there.
I just didn't know
How good.
that he was.
But yeah,
gonna be short.
that's always been a theory, Liz. But technically, it's not right. But hey, theories are theories.
Mhm.
I like Snape. I think he would have been a great dad to Harry.
I don't know about that.
No, definitely not. He hated Harry.
They acted
Bec-
like he hated him.
Because he looked like James, you know.
Liz, go read some fanfic. I think you would
Yeah,
like
maybe.
that one.
There's some
maybe the
weird
Tom
fan
Felton
fiction
one.
images online. There's like
He's
some weird
fan fiction about
stuff.
everything.
There's some weird stuff like
Oh my
Harry and Snape
gosh.
romance
I
stuff.
saw
It's
this
really
TikTok.
bizarre.
People are like into Alan Rickman as Snape, and I saw this TikTok where someone had used AI to create these images of him like lounging on a sofa or like all sweaty and shirtless, and I was like, "What is
So
happening?
weird.
What
So
did I
weird.
sumble across?" Oh my god!
It's a booming type of literature. It is. It's booming.
Well, in this actual story, the next thing we get is Narcissa lying about Harry
Mhm.
being dead.
And this is
it's
another moment of Voldemort not understanding the power of love and how love is something that defeats him time and time again. And it's Narcissa's love for her son that betrays Voldemort.
Mhm.
thank God Harry saved him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true, because then she's able to lie, get Harry there to steal Neville's thunder when Neville gives his speech. Harry may be gone, but he's still here with us. Wait, he's alive? What the fuck?
Oh, okay. That brings me to plot point number 6. So the final battle kicks off with a little speech by Neville and Harry's escape.
Mhm.
In the fighting that ensues, Hermione and Ron are trying desperately to kill the snake. Just when they're about to lose, Neville slices in with the Sword of Gryffindor, beheading Nagini and destroying Riddle's final Horcrux.
Now, I love the fights. I love the action. There's something we talk about on our show every once in a while when we get to it between Harry and Voldemort. I love the moments of Harry like versus Voldemort walking through the castle. Like it's pretty scary, and there's just some
Mhm.
great moments of action. And Harry's like Voldemort on one side, Nagini on the other side. Very harrowing situations, and it works completely. But there's a moment when Voldemort starts like strapping him up with this curse of straps and ties him up by the arms and
Ribbons.
and rises him up, and then he grabs Harry by the throat, and they're talking. And whenever I see the movie, I'm like, why aren't you just killing him?
Yeah,
just
he would kill him.
slit his throat. Because that never happened in the book. I think we talked about they added it for just like more action, more screen time, and some cool shots for the trailer. But whenever I see this sequence, it always rubs me the wrong way completely.
It rubs me the wrong way too, because this is like the epitome of where we get the smoky effect of the Death Eaters, and you get that moment where like they fall over off of the edge of the castle, and then they like morph into one, but they go into like Voldemort's weird like smoke feature, and I just it weirds me out. Like I feel like there's too many moments where he would have killed him.
I try to justify it for myself, and I always say like it's maybe because Voldemort doesn't understand how he can kill Harry. That's why he's not trying to kill him again, because he just did the Avada Kedavra and he survived. So maybe he's afraid and just trying to discover more information. But at the same time, I'm like, but he could just slash his throat like he did to Snape.
I mean, I don't think he's trying to discover more information because he doesn't ask Harry anything.
No, I'm trying to justify it for myself to accept it.
Yeah, he slaps him around. And I'm just
Sometimes
like, whenever I see it, I'm like, what is he doing?
So I don't get too upset every time I watch it. You know, I just like so I can enjoy it more. You know,
doesn't Harry in the books too? Like when he jumps out of Hagrid's arms, he throws on the invisibility cloak.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
I wish they had done that, because that would have been the nod to the final Hallow, and you would have gotten that. You would have gotten all the Hallows in this movie.
That's a great point. Like we never saw the cloak being used in this film.
Yeah, because Harry's technically the master of death.
Wait, didn't they use it when they break into Gringots?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
The cloak. Yeah.
Okay, so they did use it. They did use it.
Okay, well, not the
But
same.
still would have been cool to see it here, though.
Yeah, Harry's grip hooks like on his back like a backpack.
Yeah.
Talking in his ear. Like he like grabs him with his claws.
Harry's like, damn, your breath smells, bro.
It probably smells. It probably reeks. It reeks. And also, I'm actually, if you're gonna read the books, I don't really want to spoil the ending location in the book. What do you guys think?
We can go about it. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the books a lot.
All right, yeah. Well,
You've
the
been
final
around for a long time.
The final confrontation doesn't happen outdoors in the courtyard.
Was that the final plot point?
Yeah. The final battle continues, and we see Harry head to head with Voldemort, who now is defenseless without his Horcruxes.
Yeah.
So this
So
is
you
after
get-
Neville. Yeah.
So what you're supposed to get is a epic like Great Hall battle.
Yeah.
And you see like I think it's like there's 3 or 4 tables, and there's multiple one-on-one fights. Well, no, they're not all one-on-one. So it's Harry and Voldemort, and then you see Bellatrix where Molly kills her, and then I think there's one where I don't know if Lupin is dead at this point in the books.
Kingsley's
Kingsley
fighting
and
someone else.
Lupin's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like other Death Eaters on the other side. I can't remember who it is, but they're like on the tables in the Great Hall.
And then
Not my daughter, you bitch.
It's great.
Yes.
And then the final confrontation between Harry and Voldemort happens in the courtyard, and it's visually stunning. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And I do love it. When I watch the movie, I really love it. But however, I do wish they keep it in the Great Hall, and it's Harry versus Voldemort, and everybody's watching. Like even everybody stops
like
fighting.
the walls.
Yeah, they all surround them, and it's just like an audience for Harry versus Voldemort. And Harry tells them all about. He knows all about Tom Riddle's past. He knows all about Tom Riddle's plans, his Horcruxes, and Voldemort's like, "How do you know all this information?" It's shocking for him to learn this. And then they battle each other. It's just everybody's there. It's just really fantastic.
And the revelation that Snape was always Dumbledore's man.
Yes.
He was a double agent, not for you. He was a double agent for Dumbledore because you killed my parents. Snape loved my mother, and again, you'll never understand love. That's your greatest weakness, basically.
It makes a lot of sense too that like that would have actually happened, because if I was Voldemort, I would be so confused. I'd be like, how is this kid alive? Like I just really don't understand at this point.
Why won't you die?
It's basically like the rap battle. It's the rap battle at the end of 8 Mile.
Legit.
Clarence had real nice parents. Mike drops, and like he can't say anything back, so he just walks away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, instead, what we get in this movie is let's finish this the way we started, together.
Together.
He also teases Voldemort in the book. He's like, he tells him about how Snape wasn't the master of the Elder Wand. And then he's
Mhm.
like, I'm the one who's disarmed Draco. He's like, you want to go at it, bro?
Draco was the master of the Elder
Yeah.
Wand. Yeah, it's
And
wild.
then one other thing we don't get is they don't verbally say any spells. So you just see them like throwing. Well,
Yeah.
it is very visually cool, like throwing spells at each other, but it should be Avada Kedavra and Expelliarmus.
Yes.
Which is like honestly so cliche. So maybe that's why they took it out of the movie.
Well, part 1 is the first instance of eliminating Expelliarmus in general from Harry for these 2 movies, because in the opening chase in part 1, they discover that Harry is the Harry because he uses Expelliarmus. In the movie, they have Hedwig saves him to die from a spell, which happens in the book as well. But the Death Eaters
I think he's in a
realize that.
cage. Isn't he in a cage? in the
Oh
book?
yeah, you're right. Hedwig is
Yeah.
in a cage.
Yeah.
And so, but in the book, the Death Eaters realize he's the real Harry because he uses Expelliarmus so much. And then Lupin even says at Grimmauld Place, it's becoming like your bread and butter. You shouldn't use Expelliarmus so much. If you're not willing to
Yeah, he
kill,
kinda
you might as
scolds
well
him for it.
stun. So you stupefy. And so then they eliminated that from here, because I wish they did too, because it's similar to like a just lightsaber for a Jedi, like a blue lightsaber for Anakin or whoever. It's his thing. It's his bread and butter. He should use it.
I don't think that they said their spells out loud because they filmed it in slow motion. And then that would have been
No,
like,
I feel like it seems
no,
live action.
they do it in slow motion.
They could have
I
done
don't
some
know.
editing to have them
So
say the spells.
especially-
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
So their first Priori Incantatum, that's real motion. That's 24 frames. But then the final spell casting, that's in slow motion.
It feels like, I don't know. It's
No, it's
hard
like,
to
remember,
tell.
like,
It looks like it's
So,
in
like,
slow motion.
yeah, so the snake gets killed, and Voldemort's like,
Liz is just laughing
"Oh."
at me doing a wand move.
No, yeah, it's slow motion. It's slow motion. Snake gets killed. Voldemort's like, oh, and then Harry's like, oh, and then Voldemort's like, oh, and then Harry, oh.
Exactly.
Okay,
They
all
don't say
slow motion.
anything.
Yeah.
They took this entire like great dialogue sequence and just made it a bunch of like,
Yeah. Because then it would have been like, expect yeah, it would have been
Expelliarmus.
yeah,
not a
it wouldn't work.
Patronus.
It's because they
No.
did it in slow
I
motion.
hope not. Harry would have died.
Wrong spell.
What? You're not a Dementor? You look a little questionable, sir.
But what was cool is like in the book, you realize Harry knows that Voldemort can't defeat him. So the thing that's kind of a little confusing for people who didn't know the books is Harry's not stronger than Voldemort.
Mm-mm.
Harry's not a better wizard than Voldemort. Voldemort is leagues above him, but Harry defeated him because Voldemort wasn't able to kill him because the wand wasn't his to own. And I don't feel like they got that enough across for the audience who watched it without reading the books to understand that it's not like Harry defeated him because he was more powerful. He defeated him because the wand wouldn't have let them.
Well, yes
Yeah.
and no, because at the end, my least favorite part about the whole franchise is when they're talking about the Elder Wand, and the suns come up, and it's the 3 of them, and he's explaining to the other 2, like, the wand's mine, it's mine.
Yeah.
And Ron's like, oh, the most powerful wand. And in the books, he repairs his wand and then breaks the
Yes.
other wand. But in the
Yes.
movies, he just snaps it like a fucking twig. And I'm just like, what are you? Why?
What about your wand, Harry?
I've seen this movie 20 times. I scream at the TV every time when he doesn't repair his wand. And he snaps the other one. I'm just like, oh my God. God damn it, David Yates.
Guys, the
But-
movie's 2 hours. It's not that long of a movie. You could have had him repair his wand for
Could
10
have
seconds.
added it in.
But he does
They
say
are very
it's
careless
mine.
with the wands in the movies.
But before he breaks, he does say, I'm basically the master of the Elder Wand.
Mm-hmm.
But they should have done it earlier, I guess. I don't know. But I think some people might have misinterpreted that. You're
That's
right.
what I'm-
Maybe they think that Harry's more powerful.
That's
than
what I'm
Voldemort,
saying.
where he's
It's
not.
like they didn't do it enough to get like for general audiences to
Yeah.
understand that he didn't beat him out of skill.
Voldemort can't be him. Not only does Harry have the Elder Wand, but he's the master of death
Yeah.
with all the Hallows.
It was impossible for Voldemort to really beat him in a duel.
Ooh, I am itching for a reread, and I'm itching for this HBO series.
It's
I'm actually
so
getting
good.
excited about it.
I have a Ravenclaw edition of Deathly Hallows, and it's great.
It's a good
I
looking
love
book.
it.
A Ravenclaw
Ooh.
edition?
Yeah,
What does
so
that mean?
it's like a special like Ravenclaw one. It's got this beautiful Ravenclaw artwork, and it's got so you know how some books still have like the edges of the paper will
Like
be a
gold
color.
or something? Yeah.
This one is
Mhm.
purple. The edge of every page is purple.
Oh.
It's
That's
really cool.
I want to do one of those things where you like recover the book and like make my own covers.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
of
those
the
on TikTok.
series.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
Have you ever tried to destroy a book though? It's actually way harder than you would think to do.
I bet.
To destroy one.
Yeah,
Rip
yeah.
the
Or like
stuff
rip a
off
book
of it.
apart.
You
Yeah.
gotta do it like 5 pages at a time. This is gonna take forever. How many pages is this?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's the whole like ending killing sequence. I think we
Mhm.
covered most of it. Other than that though, we get the epilogue. So like the
Mhm.
19 years later.
I
And
think they did a
Yates
good
didn't
job
want to
aging them.
yeah, he didn't want to
Mhm.
cast any older actors, so they aged the original actors.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm glad they kept it. There was always going to be like, are they
Mhm.
going to put it in the movie? Are they not? Are they going to recast someone else? But I enjoyed it. It's sweet. It's nice. I wish there was more of like the other kids besides their
Yeah.
sons. Just
Yeah.
Mhm.
Albus Severus. But like, did Ginny not get a say in the naming of the kids?
No.
She's like,
not.
Harry, you can't just name them. All of the people you know can't be the names of our
Like,
children.
don't I get a
This is
say?
not as bad as Twilight with Renesmee, okay?
Yeah, it's not.
I don't.
I birthed them. Let me get a say.
Can we name one of them Ginny? No. What about
No.
Molly? No.
Molly didn't die.
No, just like
Which of the twins died? Fred?
Fred.
Fred died.
Why not
Oh,
Fred?
Fred.
Albus Fred.
As a
that kinda
twin,
worked.
don't you feel like it's important to know the distinction between the two twins?
I never know
Yes,
half the
but,
time.
like in the movies, it's like,
I can never tell in the movies half the time. I'm always like, wait, which one is that?
Didn't they switch roles sometimes too?
Oh,
Without
did
knowing?
they?
Sure,
Well, they
maybe.
look
Yeah.
that much alike where they could have pulled it off.
Yeah,
I
they-
bet.
Very similar.
Yeah,
They're
they
very
definitely
identical.
do.
And they
They're very
sound
identical.
the same. Like
Yeah.
when they're talking, if you weren't looking, you wouldn't know which one was which.
Yeah, we're identical, but we've like. My hair's different than Anthony's. He's got a little more scruff.
So different.
So I have longer hair. So
Okay, also Ron's dad bod in this scene.
Yes,
Big
they put him
time.
in a fat suit.
poor guy. What if he was like ripped? Like he doesn't work out?
Well,
Like-
no, the funny story is that they didn't originally have that, and then Ron saw the costume design. And he said, "No, make him fatter." So he wanted.
Did he really?
wanted that, yeah, he wanted that belly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so Rupert Grint asked for them to do that. Makes
Wait,
sense. I
that's
mean,
so
Arthur's a
funny.
pretty big guy. Arthur's big, so and
Yeah.
Ron's lazy, so
Yeah.
I don't see
Why,
Ron
did,
as
why
someone
would
who will
Hermione end up with
exercise.
him?
That's
Yeah,
the
I
biggest
still don't
mystery
get
of Harry
it.
Potter.
the Minister of Magic.
Honestly, Hermione and Harry they should have ended up together in my
They
opinion.
should have.
Well,
Yeah.
JK says that was a regret of hers, but I mean, it was like kind
Really?
of maybe it was too cliche of it to happen. Like, of course, that's
I
what
think
everyone would
so.
expect.
Because like Hermione is so good at everything, and she's so intelligent, she's so capable. She becomes like the big politician later on in her life, and then Ron's just like working with his brothers at their joke shop. It just doesn't.
I
No,
feel
he
like
works
she
with
did that on
Harry.
purpose or something.
He eventually starts working with
He's an
Harry at the
Auror.
Auror's office.
He becomes an Auror. Doesn't
Yeah.
he work with them though? At
For
first?
a little bit, yeah. But then he becomes an Auror.
Yeah. I just think Ron's not good enough for Hermione.
Well, maybe
I
she needs
agree.
someone that she can just dominate.
That makes sense then. I need
Yeah.
a man that
That
I
does
can
make sense.
on a
The
leash.
relationship
a man on a
dynamic
leash.
there, come on.
You've
She
got
doesn't wanna
Garn
be
Girls
shown love
vibes.
ever.
Can relate.
I mean, how can you compete with Hermione? So, like,
I do like the kid that plays Albus Severus. Arthur Bowen is his name.
yeah, he's
I think he
solid.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I don't know. I think that moment
Those
is
are
really
cute.
sweet in
Yeah.
the film, actually.
They did a
Very
good job with
great.
the epilogue. They
Cute
did a
kid,
good job.
cast well. Yeah, really
I just
solid.
feel bad. Like none of these guys, none of them took any time having kids. Like they had kids right out of school.
That's what it's
man.
like with wizards.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
another con for me with the movies, which I understand why they did it all. Every time we see anyone in the Order of the Phoenix in the past, they're old as
Yeah.
hell.
They
Especially
should
the
be
photo.
young. They should
Harry's
be young.
parents died when they were 21, so they should be 21 years old in photos and everything. But I think for kids, it was easier to explain to show like an older parent. But I hope in
Yeah.
the show it's more accurate to have much more youthful parents. And
I
like
think that would be great.
the old photo of the Order of the Phoenix, like they're all in their 50s.
Yeah.
Like everyone in
Yeah.
that photo should be 20 years old,
Yeah, that's
except
true.
for Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dumbledore's always old. Okay. Anything that we missed that we need to discuss?
I think like we're good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we have some very important questions to ask you,
Let's do
James
it.
and Anthony.
Let's do it.
So we've been asking our guests every episode, but we want to ask you in terms of like the whole series, the films. What is your favorite piece of magic from the series?
So my favorite piece of magic is Polyjuice Potion.
Nice.
I just think it's a
Ooh,
blast.
that's
It's
a great
always fun.
answer.
I think it's a little underrated, but it's just always a great idea for me for when you're on a mission or something. Doing Polyjuice Potion, it's always super fun.
Great pick.
That is a good pick.
My pick
Anthony?
is using a pensieve to look into someone's memories.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good
I love
one.
it. And Half-Blood Prince is my favorite book, and all that
Mine too.
is just really amazing to read. And it's it's not a spell, but It's such a great piece of magic. I adore that.
Take them to the pensieve.
Take them.
Liz, do you have one? A favorite piece of
Yeah,
magic?
I want
you
that
love?
bag Hermione has. The never
Oh,
ending
nice.
bag.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
that
carry
is
all
such
my
a good
crap around with me
answer.
all the time. That
That'll
would
be the books.
fantastic.
Wasn't that actually? Didn't Hagrid give that to Harry in the books?
Oh, I don't know.
Hagrid gave it to Harry?
I think Hagrid.
I thought that Hermione made it.
I can't
She
remember
like
where
put
it
a
came from.
spell on it.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
Hermione
Okay, yeah,
did
you're
an
right.
extension charm on it.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
It's
think
like
mine
the same
is
thing
the
Newt Scamander has.
Yeah.
mine is the Marauders map for
Oh
sure.
yes.
That's a good
Oh,
one.
great
Yeah.
pick.
I was
Great
always
pick.
obsessed with that in the books.
Same.
Yep. Okay, next up is favorite magical creature.
The basilisk.
I knew you were going to pick that
Ooh,
basilisk.
Of
that's a
course,
good
the Slytherin
one.
likes the
Oh yeah.
basilisk.
Yeah.
I picked the Dementor because it's an ingenious idea, and it's
It
one of the
is.
few magical creatures in the series that she didn't pull from other mythoses and other legends.
Mhm.
Many of the things we see, they're famous creatures that are in other stories, but the Dementors is an idea wholly her own. And it's an
Mhm.
incredible interpretation and metaphor for depression. It's the terrifying figure. I've always found them to be the scariest creatures in the films and books when I read and watched them as a kid. And I think it's just a brilliant concept visually, too. It's just all around the design, the idea of what they are. And for me, I think that it's the most terrifying thing imaginable to have something suck your soul away from you.
Mhm.
I think that's like the most horrible thing that could happen to a person, to have your soul taken.
Yeah. How does she come up with this stuff? You know, that's like one of those
Genius.
things that's like, I mean, it's so creative.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Liz.
I really like the Thestrals. I think they're super neat. I like
Going
at the
dark
end
over
how we
here.
all see them. I mean, they're kind of cool. They're just like horses.
are cool.
Kind of.
That's
I'd like
a good
to
point.
have
That's a great
one.
pick.
Yeah, seeing them all, everyone seeing them at the end is a good point because we've all experienced death, and so have the characters.
Mhm.
I think I would either go Fox or Crookshanks. I don't know. I think maybe
Is Crookshanks
Crookshanks.
a magical creature?
It is, yeah. Cats
Yeah,
are, yeah,
Crookshanks
magical creatures.
is.
Yeah, they count. Toads
Yeah,
count.
for
Mice
sure.
count.
There's a difference between like a regular house cat and a magical house cat.
Yeah.
Like Crookshanks
okay.
is very intelligent. It
Yeah.
can communicate.
Okay.
Mhm. But she becomes friends with Sirius, which I think
And-
is fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Aw.
Crookshanks was she's done dirty in the movies.
Yeah,
She is. She is. But that's okay.
Underdeveloped.
At least she's in there.
true.
hmm Okay, and then favorite character in the series, and maybe like how do you think they were portrayed in the films as well?
Albus, Percival, Brian.
Really?
Dumbledore. I love Dumbledore because of the discovery of his past, eventually by Deathly Hallows, and to see how troubled he was in his youth and how he was not only hasn't always been this great, wonderful guy that's always been about projecting love and intelligence, but had a past where he sought power. But to see how the death of his sister, which he feels responsible for, completely changed him to the person he is today, or that we see him later on in the books and where Harry meets him, it's really fantastic. Plus the courage and bravery it takes to raise this child as a pig for slaughter, basically, as Snape says, but to also love him unconditionally. And that's the reason why he's in Harry's mind at the end of the film, is because of the love he has for Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My
Good
favorite
one.
character is Harry. It just
I don't know why it's so
he's
funny.
the best. I don't know why everyone's laughing.
I mean, that's a great pick.
Cliche.
I mean, I feel like
Luke
he-
Skywalker, let's go.
I feel like no one ever picks him. I feel like Sirius is a common pick. But Harry's an incredible character. I find his selflessness, his embracement of love, his goodness, and his morality, his
Mhm.
honor. He's very inspiring, and he's someone who he's always put in these situations where he always puts himself, sacrifices himself. The journey he goes on from being this kid in the cupboard under the stairs to being the hero of the world, basically. But ultimately, it's his selflessness and his love that I think endure as a character, and the reason why the stories even work. It's because of Harry's love and Harry's love for others and for those he's lost, and he's endlessly good and moral.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And he could have easily like he was so down and out at the beginning, and like there were so many obstacles in his life. He could have given up, and instead he like kept going, and people
Yeah.
had him lean on his friends, and Dumbledore guided him there. Those are great picks.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Liz, what about you?
Crookshanks.
So, yeah, Crookshanks. I've said this whole time that my favorite character is Ron, and I love him. He's fabulous. But I have
Are
to
you
go
going to
with,
change? Oh,
yes.
Pivot.
Oh,
I have to go with my girl Luna because she's
Okay.
fantastic. She is underutilized, in my opinion. And based on the movies, I know that there's a difference in the books, but based on the movies, I feel like it's almost like she and Harry should have ended up together because she was
Oh.
always there, always supporting him, even when other people weren't. And she's honestly like one of the most like genuine and sweet people the entire time. She never hear her say one bad thing about anybody. And I don't know, I just like her. And she's
I think-
cute.
I am your friend, Luna. That's nice.
I think she's portrayed really well in the
Yeah.
movies, like very accurate to her book character. So
Okay, good.
yeah, not really like that she would end up with Harry, but yeah.
I think she would have been perfect for Harry. He even took her as a date to
Her and Neville, though. Come on.
yeah. Her and Neville.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, they actually dated for a while, but then they separated in their 30s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got married, but then they separated.
Who
Is that
can
canon?
stand the other anymore?
Is that
Yeah,
Okay.
JK.
Wait, where-
JK said JK's released some stuff, some quick writing about like characters that happened after the events of this book.
cute.
Neville
Interesting.
cheated on her.
with this newfound confidence? I mean,
Yeah, for real.
I mean, Neville did take Ginny to the Yule Ball, so he could have had. They could have
bad
Yeah.
answer. He did kill the snake. I mean, that's pretty badass.
There aren't a lot of options when you're a wizard. You kind of snog your best friend's girlfriend eventually.
Yeah. I think my pick is Lupin. Always
Nice.
has been, always
Great
will
pick.
be. I think he is like the true father figure to Harry that never gets like all the credit for it. It's always given to Sirius, I think. But like Sirius was kind of like not really a good role model, and Lupin
Yeah.
was always the one that would come in and like actually scold Harry and be like, "Get your head out of your ass! Like you need to do this or that." And I wish they had incorporated the Teddy character arc because that was like so important to me. But I do love the David Thewlis who played him, and I like that we got to see him die in the end, and it was really emotional for me.
It's a really great pick.
Yeah, great pick. There is another father figure that gets no recognition really, and that's Hagrid.
I don't see
Yeah.
Hagrid as a father figure. I see him more as an uncle figure.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah, I
brother.
guess
He's
I
like a
guess.
brother
cool
or
uncle.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
a father figure in my opinion.
I guess. I mean,
I
I guess he doesn't
agree.
really give him guidance at all.
he's just he's too silly to be a father figure. Like
I
he's
guess.
like one of the kids.
But he does bring him into the world.
He
You know?
does, yeah.
And
He
he
births
messes
he
up
births him
a
into the
lot.
wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he leaves him at the train station.
Yeah.
There's a meme of like it's like that Natalie.
You totally told him how to get on
Yeah,
the train, right?
it-
Yeah, I totally did. I swear I did that.
Did
yeah,
not.
I
Yes.
was gonna say that, but
just abandons him.
Okay, so let's check in with the world. So the letterbox average. Oh wait, we haven't done our ratings yet.
Oh yeah, we got to do our ratings.
Yeah.
James
4.5.
Anthony- Okay,
4.5 as well.
Okay.
Liz,
I'm giving this one a 4 as well.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
hmm
What would have made this one a 5?
Great hall battle.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
think the Great Hall for sure.
Great
That
Hall
probably
battle.
That was so quick.
That's the
Yeah,
one
I mean
thing.
it's big on my list about why this one only got 4.
And repairing the wand.
Yeah, that Great Hall battle and the Lupin arc. I think those are the 3 reasons that it only gets a
Yeah.
4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the straps.
The straps are
Wrapping
weird.
Harry up in straps. Yeah.
It's
I had
like-
to knock it down to half a star.
when you say it like that, it like sounds weirdly sexual. Like I don't know how to feel about it.
Fighting Harry. Oh,
As someone
man.
who didn't read the books, I feel like they should have explained some things a little more. They kind of assumed that if you're watching the movies, you'd read the books, which I guess it's a fair assumption. But they could have done like a little bit more explaining, and then things wouldn't have been so.
I don't think they assumed that. I think they
Confusing.
made like very deliberate choices to make the movies easier to understand. I think if they had assumed you read the books, you would have not understood the movie at all.
There was a lot they left out that didn't, did stuff just like didn't make sense, like the mirror thing and like
There was a lot of stuff that they left out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
world.
you're right. You're right. They assumed like if you read the books, you would have gotten stuff implied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Which, like, you could figure it out, like, at the end, but then the whole movie you're kind of sitting there like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, this is
Yeah.
stupid.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, now we can check in with the world. So the letterbox average is a 3.9, which is kind of insane. The tomato meter score is a 96, and the audience
Damn.
score is an 89, which is also insane. Like, the
Very
tomato meter,
high.
I feel like, is normally wrong about things. Like, we don't like the critics.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a pretty good movie, well made and all that stuff. IMDb's got an 8.1, another insane number.
That's
And
high.
then Google like confuses me because it's just like you click yes or no, you liked it kind of thing. And so it's again 86% of Google users liked the movie, but who's out here like, no, I didn't like this. I don't know. I don't get the Google thing.
Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans hate Star Wars movies. Harry Potter fans love Harry Potter movies.
No, but the Star Wars fans hate Harry Potter fans.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, the rivalry.
Yeah.
The
That's because they're jealous because they know it's better.
Oof.
Oh, you just stabbed Courtney in the heart there.
Which is like
Sorry.
objectively like more successful. Do we know?
More successful is probably, Star Wars
overall
over,
in terms of films and
There's just so much
memorabilia.
more Star Wars, though.
It had 30 years of a head start on it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So
I wonder though, like after the HBO series comes out too, like I feel like there'll be so much because there's all the books, all the movies, all the Fantastic Beasts movies, and the series.
True.
yeah. And the video
Yeah.
game.
And the
If they
video
make it well,
game.
I think they'll do a good job, and if they do, it could be like the biggest show in terms of numbers in history. It really can be.
It could be. God, they better not mess it up. I feel like why would they do this? They have so much pressure. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's check in with the house tournament. And this is, I think we're gonna do like one more week after the episode is released for people to comment. So this is not like the final, but it's not looking good for me.
Yeah,
So-
we'll say you have until like the 31st at midnight.
Okay. In fourth place, we have Gryffindor with 280 points. In third place with 325 points, we have the Slytherin house. And tied for first place with 340 points, we have both Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Leave
think I
those
shot myself
comments,
in the
Slytherins.
foot in this one. I think I accidentally took 50 points from Gryffindor. For
You
some
did.
reason.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You're in the
Guys, go
negative.
Slytherins. Leave those comments, Slytherins.
Can we go back to the last one when we were talking about like Dumbledore just like tossing in like an extra 60 at the end?
Ah, he's dead. Remember,
now
he's
you
dead.
want it.
He's dead.
He can talk in this movie. We spent so much time talking about him.
I thought for a second about making them all tied before we add in everybody's thing. But I was like, no. Let's give some credit to the Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws out there because
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
we are strong.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
United we stand. As a reminder, we already alluded to it, but for all of you watching at home, you can earn points for your house by commenting on this episode on YouTube and telling us which house you're in. You'll get 5 points per comment per episode. Don't comment more than once, please. And then the winning house is obviously getting bragging rights, but then I'm also making a cup. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do a reveal. We'll see.
Ooh. And again, that will
Interesting.
end at midnight on December 31st, and winning house will be announced on our Instagram.
Woot woot.
I want that cup.
I'll mail it to you if it's Ravenclaw.
Oh no. Okay, so that is it. We're going to say goodbye to you, James and Anthony, for coming on. Thank you so much for joining. It was such a blast having y'all on. And you know so much deep canon information about this.
Yes.
So it was really, really fun talking with y'all.
It's finally all paying off.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yes. It's all
Definitely-
built up to this podcast.
Plug all your stuff. Tell the people where to find you.
We are Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Very easy to find on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Post 4 episodes a week on movies, new and old. Do movie news every week as well. Again, you can search us anywhere. Search us Google or our website, raidersofthelostpodcast.com.
We do a lot of Harry Potter episodes as well.
We're,
We love
we're a
it.
content factory.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for inviting us on. This was
Content.
such a blast.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you
Again,
guys
it was
so
very
much.
fun.
course. All right. Bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
All right. And next week, we are talking about not Harry Potter. So we're finally done with the Harry Potter series. I'm sure it'll come back up in conversation, but we'll be talking about something else. So be sure to tune into that if you are pottered out.
Yep. And be sure to subscribe and follow on all the things so that you don't miss it. You can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts.
Yes. And this, I can't believe we haven't said it until now, but this is our Christmas episode. So Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates.
Merry Christmas.
And we will see you in 2024.
Bye, guys.
Bye.